I'm glad you brought up veterinary care because that's a big focus of what we're going to talk about. But there's something that happened that was huge in the news this week, and that is that Jessica Simpson might be getting a divorce.
Oh
I'm
no,
just kidding.
that's
I
awful.
know, I know, no. But then this other thing happened in that we had an election, and we will be having a new old president. And I don't mean, well, he is kind of older, like all things considered. We are going to have another Trump administration. And so I wanted to ask you a couple of questions about that because with a new administration comes new opportunities for private equity regulation or private equity, doing
hmm
better. So I'd love to know, how did private equity thrive, survive during the Trump administration? Part one.
Private equity during the Trump administration, based on the Trump administration's acts, it seems like they had a little more room to work during the Trump administration. They loosened up the rules on where private equity could get their money. So if you have a 401k, the Trump administration made it so that your 401k could go into private equity. If you're an individual who wants to invest or who may give money to private equity, he also loosened the limits around that. And then Trump appointed a lot of judges that have long-term appointments that we are living with the consequences of. And before going into the judges, I want to draw a contrast between the first Trump administration and this current administration
Okay.
that we're in, which has taken great steps towards reining in the excesses of private equity. Most of that happens kind of under the headline level with like the Federal Trade Commission, the Department of Justice, the Department of Health and Human Services, which are all appointed by the president. Their heads are appointed by the president. And the FTC, those agencies have been really great about going after private equity and investigating kind of the impacts of private equity's investments in healthcare and the economy. We're worried based on the priorities that we believe this next administration has, that private equity, again, will have a bit more room to do what they want, have less restrictions, and that these investigations that started under this administration and some of the lawsuits that have been brought against some of the worst case companies, we're worried we're not going to see as much of that or any of that in the next administration.